Have you ever wondered why Americans call a sport with kicking a ball soccer, while most of the world calls it football? This seemingly simple question has a surprisingly complex answer, rooted in the history of the sport itself and the evolution of language across continents. Our story begins in England, the birthplace of the modern sport we know today. Back in the Middle Ages, various kicking games were popular, often involving villagers trying to propel a ball from one end of town to the other. These chaotic affairs eventually evolved into more organized sports, with the first documented rules for football emerging in the 19th century. However, these early games weren't limited to kicking. Players could use their hands to carry the ball, leading to a messy mix of rugby and football. In 1863, the Football Association, the world's first governing body for the sport, was formed in England. They standardized the rules, including the now familiar ban on using hands while running with the ball. This codified version became known as association football to distinguish it from other football-like games, like rugby. This standardized association football quickly gained popularity across the British Isles and beyond. It needed a shorter, catchier name, and soccer emerged as the preferred term. It's believed to be a shortened slang term derived from association. University students of the era were fond of abbreviating words, and a soccer eventually morphed into soccer. This informal term gained popularity alongside the sport itself. Around the same time that association football was gaining traction in Europe, a different kind of football was taking root on American soil. This sport, derived from rugby, involved carrying the ball and tackling opponents, quite different from soccer. As American football gained popularity, it simply became known as football in the US. So when association football, the kicking game from England, arrived in the US, it needed a name to avoid confusion. Soccer, already established in England as a casual term for the sport, fit the bill perfectly. While the US adopted soccer, most other countries continued calling the sport football. This is likely because association football became more popular than rugby football in most parts of the world, so the original term football stuck. Here's a fun fact. The US governing body for soccer was actually called the United States Football Association until 1974. They eventually changed it to the United States Soccer Federation to avoid confusion. Regardless of the terminology, the beautiful game of football or soccer continues to unite people worldwide. Millions gather to cheer on their national teams, and the sport transcends language barriers. In the US, soccer's popularity is steadily growing. Major League Soccer is attracting top players and passionate fans, and the US men's and women's national teams are consistently ranked among the world's best. Looking ahead, it will be interesting to see if the football versus soccer debate ever fades away. Perhaps as the global popularity of both sports continues to grow, a more unified term might emerge. However, for now, the distinction seems here to stay. So there you have it. The reason Americans call football soccer boils down to historical happenstance. The terms diverged early on, and the rest, as they say, is history. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to subscribe for more explorations of fascinating topics from around the world. Hit that like button and share this video with your friends who might get a kick out of it. See you next time.